One Bataan Risers begin with Robbie Darang, Tutoy Ramirez, Chris Javier, Rafi Octobre, and Rin William Bing. Sa panig naman ng Pasig City, Aaron Morante, Warlo Batak, Jacob Galicia, Mark Montuano, and Chito Jaime. Our referees for this ball game are Jay Castroverde, Sev Pingol, and Karina Martin. Fourth referee is Leonardo Layosa. Bataan in white, Pasig City in blue, and the tip going to the One Bataan Risers.
Interesting here para kay Coach Aldrin Morante. He starts his son at point guard here for Pasig City, si Aaron Morante, in a very big game like this. Let's see how Aaron can match up to the situation going up against one of the top guards in the league in Robbie Darang.
And he did a good job that time of forcing Robbie Darang into a miss. That point guard spot has been a difficult situation for Pasig, with Robbie Manalang missing the last 2 to 3 months. And it hasn't been pretty for Pasig, but they've made amends, especially in their last 4 games. But Rin William Bing starts things off with a free. Nice sign for the One Bataan Risers.
Well, if you're talking about making up for lost time, Rin William Bing has certainly done so these past few games para sa Bataan Risers. His average has gone up in terms of scoring, and his overall impact on the game has been felt greatly by his squad going into this play-in tournament.
Jump ball. So, possession arrow pointing to Pasig. Yeah, Rin William Bing. We've often talked about this, how he and Mitchell Maynes, their development would probably determine how deep Bataan will go here in the play-in and hopefully in the playoffs.
Because if you're looking at Bataan, I've said this many times during the course of this season, if you're looking at Bataan from top to bottom, they're a very solid team. It just so happens that the gelling didn't really happen right away. It took them a while to figure things out as a whole, but individually, these guys are very talented. A lot of them have a lot of experience already here in the league. It was just a matter of getting it together on how they would perform as one unit, and it took different changes. Coaches coming in, Coach Ogie having to take a step back. Let's see here, this was the foul on Chito Jaime. And going back to what I was saying, no, it's nice that Bataan was able to get things going latter part of the regular season just in time, because I'm sure hindi rin ito yung inasahan nila mangyayari sa kanila sa dulo, but they have a chance right now, and I'm sure that they're gonna do everything that they can to get themselves one more game and one more chance to crack the top 8.
And they've proven to be one of the highly efficient teams here in the league. Number 3 in 2-point percentage, number 5 in overall field goal percentage, number 8 in 3-point percentage. And well, Chito Jaime got fouled while taking a free. Missed 6 games, their last 6 games. Although Pasig was able to rack up 4 straight wins to close out their elimination round, including those 2 big wins, Javi, against Mindoro and Ilagan Isabela.
Certainly confidence-boosting victories para sa kanila, and to not have Chito Jaime with them for those 2 victories certainly speaks a lot about the resilience of his other teammates. Wala na nga silang Robbie Manalang. Keith Pido has also not been part of this team, and they lost Christian Rivera. Those are 3 solid guards sa kanilang point guard rotation. Lester Reyes was transferred to Basilan. So these are all very key players para sa kanila, but the other guys, it has given them the opportunity to step up to the occasion and prove to the other guys in this league that they too can be top players for this Pasig City squad. I'm talking about Warlo Batak and Jacob Galicia.
Batak makes his move, drops it inside to Mark Montuano, but he shuffled his feet. Traveling violation whistled against Pasig City.
Hindi niya agad na establish yung kanyang position, kaya na got outbalanced a bit.
Over 2 minutes gone by. Bataan with a 3-1 lead. Yambing opts to give it up to Robbie Darang, who can't hit the free. Rebound controlled by Warlo Batak.
Nice way to get possession there for Pasig City. They cannot allow multiple possessions para dito sa Bataan.
And nice job of William Bing to slide through and force Warlo Batak into an offensive foul.
Warlo Batak has to be careful with his foul situation in this game. PASIG cannot afford to have Warlo Batak on the bench for long periods of time.
Tutoy Ramirez on the left side. Robbie Darang popping at the corner. Yambing attempts his second free. That time no goal. Octobre with an offensive rebound. Tutoy makes his move to the baseline. Throws it away. Pasig City, chance in transition. Batak lost it. Second turnover against Warlo Batak.
Warlo seems to be a little bit jittery here at the start of this game.
Yeah, it's his very first playoff appearance here in the MPBL.
And that's a lot of pressure, especially because he's now the top dog for this team. Imagine being a young guy in this kind of situation. Obviously, it will definitely give you a lot of nervousness. But this guy, I don't think he's nervous coming into this game. I think he's very excited actually coming in and playing his first game in almost a month.
Binasic lang ni Pachits dito.
Actually, more than a month. He's been out more than a month.
I think his last game was way back in August 12th. So almost 2 months. Sorry, July 30. LGR is the official outfitter of the MPBL.
Well, that's almost 3 months actually.
Oh, more than 2 months. But he looks to be still in shape and in sync as Pasig City has taken the lead 4-3. Robbie Darang. Nice pass inside. Turning around was Chris Javier, but ball was lost. It will stay though with Bataan with only 6 on their shot clock.
The thing that has kept Pasig in the thick of things for a spot in the North Division playoffs has been the resiliency on the defensive end. You could see the effort and you see the coordination brought about by constant talking on the floor. That has been the recipe for success on the defensive end for Pasig City. Although they are undermanned, you could see that the effort is really there. They're really trying their best to close out on open shooters and rotating to open guys.
Hubert Cani comes in for Tutoy Ramirez. Very deep guard rotation for the One Bataan Risers.
Contrasting to Pasig City na talagang naubusan sila ng gwardiya dun sa kanilang mga notable losses.
Sa poste ulit, same shot, different result. A miss this time from Chito Jaime. Robbie Darang. The pass to Ives Sazon. Bola na tapik palabas ni Chito Jaime.
Pasig City has been changing up their zone defense. Earlier it was a 2-3 zone. Now they're playing a 1-3-1. Trying to get Bataan off guard with their offensive sets in the half court.
Sazon about the same spot. Still a miss. Octobre with another rebound. Sazon, this time off the dribble, able to elude 2 defenders for the layup.
And that is why you cannot afford to give the Risers multiple possessions because they're so deep a team na ang dami nilang pwedeng puntahan. And off the offensive rebound, it's always a challenge for the defensive team to get back and set up their defense once again.
Mixer, great move of the game, born for greatness.
Also a nice court touch screen set there by Chris Javier, enabling Ives Sazon that open lane to the basket after that slick crossover.
This season, became a first-time All-Star, became a first-time dad. And well, he's unlocked certain aspects of his game, Avi, that we've never seen before at the beginning of the season.
You're right. Maybe the first time he came into the league, the first time we set our eyes upon him, makikita mo siguro, obviously the athleticism is there, but did you actually realize that he would be someone who could be the top player of a team here in the MPBL? I don't think a lot of people confirmed that kind of idea the first time they saw him, but he has really proven a lot of people wrong. And right now we're seeing a player flourishing into what has been an all-star season para sa kanya.
Chris Sazon though, hitting that shot. Bataan opens up a 4-point lead, 8-4. Jaime, pass to Jacob Galicia, who puts it in.
That's a nice thing about this Pasig City team. Undermanned and all of the other odds stacked against them. But you could see the way that they play as a team is really impressive.
That's been their character ever since they joined the league. Always been the underdog, always finds a way, but they need to find a way of stopping the interior. Chris Xavier, 2 points plus the foul.
Ayan talaga ang advantage dito ng Bataan sa laro na to. They have obvious height advantage. Lots of tall guys on this squad. And they're not just big men. They're big men who can actually dominate. They're big men who can actually score inside. Chris Xavier is one of them. Then you have JL Capulong coming off the bench. And Jamil Gabawan is also someone who can operate inside for the Risers. So lots of people to go to, and then you have a guy who could stretch the floor in Rafi Octobre. So different kinds of bigs in their rotation with different strengths. And you can also say the same for their guard rotation.
Alfred Flores now in for Bataan. Almost a steal from Ives Sazon. Gadin will go to the cup, but can't convert on the layup.
Pasig has had numerous baskets that have just bounced out, but they were actually good looks. For Pasig City, they have to be able to make the most out of those quality opportunities.
3-point shot brought to you by Extreme, your one-stop shop appliances.
Just going back there to Ives Sazon. Robbie Darang does it, force the outside shot, gives it back to his shooter from the left flank.
Baseline inbound. They go to Chris Xavier. Gives it up to Alfred Flores. Sazon using that Gabawan screen. Takes the three and makes it.
He's one of the streakiest shooters here in the league. Once he gets one to go, he's going to be tough to stop.
Always has the green light to shoot. Ives Sazon with 8 early points. 8 of the 14 for the One Bataan Risers. Susugod. Ito si Mark Pontuano who gets the friendly bounce.
He's been frustrated here in the first quarter. He feels like ang dami ng mga pito na hindi itinawag sa laro na to.
Chris Xavier. Did he travel? Yes, he did.
So far, I think the zone defense here, the changing zone defense of Pasig has been very effective in really trying to prevent Bataan from getting into the gaps. But this guy has been the zone buster in this game for the Risers. Nice move going down the lane right there for Mark Pontuano, changing to the left hand from the right. That's a good take.
Yep, Jess Kilatan with a strong drive. Using his left hand, na ibaba ng Pasig sa apat ang lamang, 14-10.
Now, one guy who has quote-unquote benefited from the losses at the guard spot for Pasig City has been Jess Kilatan, somebody who has seen spot playing time over the course of the last 2 seasons with different teams. But because of those losses to Robbie Manalang, Keith Pido, and Christian Rivera, Jess Kilatan has played a lot more time than he has over the past 2 years.
Another white body coming in for Bataan with Lawrence Capulong. Alfred Flores airballs the three-pointer. Felix Corpus, Pugadin. Now it's with Pontuano. As Pasig City tries to cut the lead further, but Kilatan's free off the mark. Hubert Cani playing backcourt duties together with Alfred Flores. Something that they did so well, Javi, in that win against Binyan. Hubert Cani with a layup.
Usually nga, pinapakawalan na nila Coach Mactan itong kombinasyon na to sa fourth quarter na. They don't usually pair Alfred and Hubert during the first 2 quarters.
Gadin with a nice hesitation, but could not complete the layup. Flores stop and pop free. No good. Chito Jaime grabs the board. Kilatan will slow things down. Nice crossover move, momentarily eluding Alfred Flores. Chito Jaime straight away free. No good. No good. And a rebound by Jess Kilatan.
Yan rin naman ang di pwedeng hayaan rin ng Bataan. Yeah, they're the taller team here in this game. And allowing Pasig City those offensive rebounds is really not acceptable, especially in a game of this magnitude.
Hubert Cani putting on the moves. Basket and one.
Always has been one of the shiftiest guards here in the league. Look at that. Coming to a stop over to freeze his defender.
Acquired during the off-season, Hubert Cani. It took some time for him to find his rhythm here with Bataan, but has settled down, has scored the last 5 points, increasing the gap to 9 points, 19 to 10.
You know, Hubert is very much still in his prime. Kasabayan ko lang naman to. And I feel like he has the tools to still be one of the dominant guards here in the league if just given the opportunity to do so.
4 points for Mark Montuano. Sazon puts it up. Can't get that one to fall that time. Bad pass. Steal by Ives Sazon. Cani will not force it up. Instead, he goes down low to JL Capulong, who just took Jess Kilatan down low and scored.
That's just a conventional attack on the mismatch. Nothing much Jess Kilatan could have done there.
Travel. Pasig City down now by 9. A very important defensive stand here at the last 26.9 seconds. Mitchell Minus making his first appearance. Will replace Alfred Flores. So much bigger lineup for Bataan to close out the first period. About a 2-second differential between shot and game clock. Gabawan to Ives Sazon. Wants a clear out against Felix Corpus. Gabawan offering that screen.
That's an offensive foul.
Yeah.
Poor screen set there by Jamil Gabawan. Had to use his arms to try and push off his defender to make space para kay Ives Sazon. Kitang-kita naman dito. Ayun.
Sinuwag niya dun si Felix Corpus.
Hard not to call that if you are our referees.
So nice stop. It prevents Bataan from increasing the gap to double digits. And now they have a chance to cut this even further. Got in with a daredevil drive. Scores 2.
Daredevil is definitely the term for that, Ken. Attacking the teeth of the defense despite being heavily pressured already. But he got that slight step that allowed him to beat his defender and get himself a lane on the right side.
This Sazon got things going early. At 8 early points here in the first quarter, Javi, and Bataan looks to be in sync coming out of the gates here in the first quarter.
Yeah, even coming off the bench, you have guys like Hubert Cani contributing right away. Mark Montuano trying to steady the ship for his squad in this game. It's going to take a lot more than just the usual effort for Pasig City to try and get themselves with a victory against Bataan today.
Rosales, Pangasinan for your Maharlika Pilipinas Basketball League. My name is Mika Abisamis. Like everybody else in the play, and of course, Bataan would like to still play after today. I mean, who would have thought that with a lineup like this, they would be at the bottom part of the standings, and Boss Goody Ilagan agrees. They haven't been in the playoffs since 2022, where there was actually one game. They beat Pampanga then, but it is what it is. They are here now. They are lucky to have added components in their coaching staff like Coach Mac Tan that helped in unlocking potentials of their many offensive players. players, some of which lately were Hubert Cani, Rin William Bing, Maines, and Kapulong. Swerte din sila. They have Gary David during this challenging time. He shared na nasa Powerade daw siya. 8th seeded team sila nung panahon na yon, twice to beat ang BMEG at that time. And they won. Dun daw unang nagpakilala si El Granada at pinanganak siya. What a great story to share to the boys. Ken, Javi.
Nagliliyab yung mga kamay noon ni El Granada. I remember that game.
Oh boy, yeah. I watched that too.
I mean, that was one of the most intriguing games in the PBA.
I would say one of the most iconic as well.
Yeah. Hubert Cani puts in the fray. 10 nang lamang ng Bataan. I mean, BMEG that time. We had a stack lineup. Mark Pingris was there. James Yap. PJ Simon. But behind Gary David, boy, they were able to upset that team. Number 8 ka sila dun, no? And, it was a shootout. I remember JB Casio, Lassiter were still there. And now he's trying to imbibe that here dito sa Bataan, who's now at number 9, trying to get out of the play. Fast break the game brought to you by Extreme X Pop Personal Karaoke Speaker. Everyday karaoke.
If there's one guy who knows about resilience on this Bataan squad, it's definitely El Granada, Gary David. And after that, you know, it just continued to rise para sa kanya, yung kanyang stock. He even made the national team, became a Gilas legend. And right now, the players that he has to coach on this Bataan squad, ang dami ring potential to be someone like him.
And they probably have the most members in their coaching staff.
Yes.
I mean, Coach Mactan became part of this team. Like Mika mentioned to Patrice, some of their offensive concerns. And also, we shouldn't forget Coach John Flores,
Yes.
who was back in Season 5 with the late Ricky Dandan. He was the master in terms of him coordinating their defensive principles, Javi, and nagbabalik siya dito just in time for the play-in.
Yeah, they needed all hands on deck. So Coach Goody Ilagan, he just thought that it would be a good idea for these guys to come back.
LGR, the official outfitter of the MPBL. And also, the last time, like Mika mentioned, that Bataan made the playoffs was back in 2022, Season 4. In fact, Mitchell Maines, JL Kapulong, and Dom Vera were part of that Pampanga squad, which was the 4th seed, but got pushed to the limit by Bataan. It went the full route, 3 games, lahat gikan yung naging laro. And it just so happened that Pampanga was able to hold them off at home.
And that's the kind of spirit that this Bataan franchise has shown us throughout the years. They have been one of the model franchises here in the league. The culture that they have built, you know, having to make the most of what they have, never making any excuses for lack of talent, etc., stuff like that. But this year, you know, they try to really stack their roster, get some good pieces. And despite that, hindi pa rin maganda yung naging kalabasan na season nila. But they're not making excuses for any of that. Instead, they're here trying to make the most of their opportunity to get back into the playoffs.
And they're currently up by a dozen, 28-16. Mitchell Maines match up against Marlo Batak. Now it's with Kapulong. Oh, nice pocket pass. Octobre, though, blows the gimme.
A lucky break right there for Pasig City. Those are 2 point-blank shots.
Batak has yet to get himself going here, but he'll now troop to the line for 2 shots.
Yeah, that's a nice way to get his confidence in this game and to maybe have him settle down for a bit. Having that ball go through the net, seeing it will get his nerves to calm down and make him make better decisions with the ball in his hands. Unfortunately, hindi pa siya mabibigyan ng free throws dito. It was a shooting foul.
Baseline inbound lang. Felix Corpus, pinopost yan. Si JL Kapulong, nice looking jumper. Just couldn't knock it down.
Rarely do you see a small man trying to post up a big man here in the league.
Octobre, tightly guarded by Corpus. Now it's with Cani. Gadin in front of him. Hubert Cani with a long three. It will bounce out. Another offensive rebound by the One Bataan Risers. has had multiple shot opportunities, but they come out empty on that trip.
Bataan's a +5 in the rebounding department in this game.
Ganin will give it up to Chito Jaime. Lost it. Pasig City, normally a team that takes care of the ball, has had multiple turnovers already. 6 turnovers. He finally grabbed the defensive rebound. Jacob Galicia to Warlo Bata. Nice pass. Galicia lays it up and in.
Almost looked very dangerous right there as they were crossing half court. Good thing that Warlo Batak was able to get a little hang time before he got that pass. And it turned to be a good give and go for Pasig City on the break.
I think that's the biggest improvement that he's had, Javi. Yung passing niya, no? Lalo nakita natin against Ilagan, Isabela, and Mindoro. Those were 2 games where he had double-digit numbers in assists.
Yes.
Fast break the game brought to you by Extreme Cool Air Conditioners. Ang Extreme magpalamig, free installation for split-type air conditioners.
Got that ball in stride and then having the presence of mind to give it up to Jacob Galicia, who was already ahead of him that time. Tama ka dyan, Noken. That's really a good observation that you made. I really agree with that. His passing ability has definitely improved. He now sees the game from a different perspective.
Yeah. Nag-slow down na rin yung laro para sa kanya. Chito Jaime pupukol sa 3. Masyadong matulis. Bola nakuha ni Robbie Darang. Darang putting the Jets on. Receives the pass back from Tutoy Ramirez and fires, scores from downtown.
Huge 3 right there. Galing kay Robbie Darang. Giving it up, relocating to the right corner. You see right here, Ramirez gives it back to his former collegiate foe. 2 guys who have mixed it up together against each other in the collegiate ranks. Now playing beautiful music with each other para dito sa Bataan. This is now a 13-point lead for the Risers.
You see here, Javi, how actually number 8 itong Bataan in terms of scoring.
Yes.
And binanggit ko na rin how highly efficient they are to cap off the season, while Pasig City pretty much in the middle ground in terms of statistics.
Yeah, if you're gonna look at the numbers on your screens, these are actually pretty decent numbers in all the part. Boils down in this game to which team will be able to play solid defense all throughout. And right now we're seeing Bataan, they're still allowing Pasig City a lot of good looks, a lot of open opportunities. Swerte lang sila, Pasig City hasn't been able to knock down a lot of their shots despite the open looks. And also, they've been giving up a lot of turnovers. This is their 7th already.
Bataan so far in cruise control, up by 13 points. But you've got to remember their regular season matchup way back in May. They met, I think we covered this game, Javi, in Montalban. Bataan had their biggest lead at 17 points in the first half. But Pasig was able to come back with those bunch of threes. Robbie Manalang was still there for them, Chito Jaime as well. And they were able to just will their way through, force overtime, and from there, Chito Jaime was able to bury the big shots to catapult Pasig to that win.
Yeah, that was a crazy game with a crazy finish. Chito Jaime had 23 points in that game. And you mentioned those crucial threes down the stretch. Chito had 6 threes overall in that game. But for me, if you're Pasig City, you have to forget about that game and just focus on what you're having right now here. For one, you don't have Robbie Manalang already, who scored 19 points in that game and basically kept you afloat for the most part of that matchup when Bataan was leading majority of the way. And there are a lot of players also who are not on this squad anymore that played in that game against Bataan. It's now a different situation. You now have to make the most of what you have right now and not think about that victory that you got way back in May.
Itong free throw na ito, atid sa atin ng Extreme Appliances, ang subok at kompletong appliance brand ng Pilipinas. It's now 33-18. One guy we haven't seen come off the bench for Pasig City are two key shooters in Rocky Asidre and Jerome Garcia. Felix Corpus knocks down the free. Cuts the lead down to 12, 33-21.
You're right, that's an interesting move here by Coach Alden Morante to keep two of his best shooters on the bench. But I heard that Rocky is not really 100% today. Jerome, I'm not really sure why Coach Aldrin hasn't inserted him yet. But there are games wherein Coach Aldrin sometimes inserts Jerome late in the second quarter or sometimes at the start of the third period. So let's see how this pans out. Maybe we can get an update later on from Mika kung ano ba talaga ang totoong dahilan kung bakit di pa sila pinapasok.
They will review that last play exactly at the halfway point of the second quarter. Bataan up by 12. Now they have a pushing foul against the one Bataan Risers. It's going to go against Mitchell Minus.
They might have had a case there. Not really much contact down low. Sa taas definitely wala masyado eh.
Felix Corpus hit that game-winning free against Imus. Although mayroong controversy doon. Got away with a travel at the very least. But still, I mean, he's been a key addition during the free agency and trade window for Pasig City.
And no doubt about it, he has given Pasig City a shot in the arm in terms of their offensive production.
Rafi Octobre kicks it out to Tutoy Ramirez. Octobre with 6 on their shot lock, puts up the free. Can't get that one to fall. Felix Corpus grabs the rebound, and he was also grabbed in the arm by Tutoy Ramirez.
So that means free throws already para sa Pasig City. Actually, parehong team nasa penalty na dito. Still 4 minutes and 39 seconds remaining in the first half. Might be a good chance for Pasig to trim down this deficit, especially with the clock stop. That will help them gain some momentum heading into the halftime break.
Felix Corpus, a teammate of Alfred Flores and Tutoy Ramirez with the ICC Blue Hawks. Making some key baskets here, making the first free throw.
I love how he's just so gutsy in taking shots, especially down the stretch. Usually, you know, when you're a new guy here in the league, you don't really have the confidence to launch shots, especially in endgame situations. But Corpus, he's already shown us, he's already made the game-winning basket here in this season. So di talaga siya takot to make the big baskets.
Pasig City making their run. 8 na lang ang kailangan nilang habulin dito from a high of 15 points. Bataan is in penalty. Another foul given up this time by Hubert Cani.
I'm telling you, the defense has been superb for Pasig in this game. Save for the offensive rebounds that they've given up. I think on the initial shots, they've defended a lot of the possessions of Bataan well here in the first half.
4 minutes and 15 seconds left. A 7-0 run by Pasig City as they cut this lead down to 8. Ken Pangilinan with Javi Palanya at courtside. We have Miss Mika Abesamis. Later we'll see Coach Jerson Cabiltes and the rest of the Pangasinan Heatwaves trying to barge into the playoffs. They'll go up against the Ilagan Isabela 5-star Cowboys.
Imagine that. They were just a few seconds away, a rebound away from gaining the 4th spot in the Northern Division.
Yeah. I mean, that shot by Manday to give the lead was such a gutsy one. As we see, Chris Xavier finally stopped the drought for Bataan as he scores underneath the basket. 35-26. After 4 minutes left in the second quarter. Felix Corpus. He's been aggressive looking for a shot. But the turnaround jumper will not work. Chris Xavier straight away free. It's good.
A little bit late on the challenge there by Mark Montuano. He allowed Chris Xavier to step into that shot. And Chris loves that area on the floor from beyond the arc.
Montuano got fouled. Chris Xavier visibly upset.
The bench though telling him to settle down a bit. Calm down. This is not the time to have the referees call technicals against you, because in a game like this where momentum could quickly shift to the other side with calls like that, you have to remain cool, calm, and collected.
Montuano at the line. Free throws have been a bit of a problem for Pasig City, despite having more attempts.
Oh, umpisa pa lang. Chito already missed 1 out of 3 during their first trip to the free throw line.
2 misses. So, 12 pa rin ang lamang ng Bataan. Robbie Dangang gives it up to Ives Sazon. 3-point shot will pop out. Chris Xavier there for the cleanup job.
Once again, you're able to generate a miss on the initial shot, but there's practically not much resistance on the offensive glass. That ball falls right into the hands of Chris Xavier after that shot attempt by Ives Sazon.
And they increase the gap to 14 points, 40-26 timeout Pasig City. Now, these two squads battled it out, and in the end, Pasig City was able to hold off Bataan here in overtime.
That was just crazy shooting from the outside, especially in the end game. Big shots from both Robbie Manalang and Chito Jaime. Chito ended up with 6 threes in that game for the Risers. Oh, sorry, for Tropang Pasig. While Robbie had 3 3-pointers of his own. Jerome Garcia had 4. And they're hoping that that 3-point shot would actually show itself today para sa Tropang Pasig, because they haven't been able to convert a lot from the outside in this game. They've only had 1 3-point make sa laro na to.
1 out of 7. Pasig from 3. Sazon tried to locate Chris Xavier underneath. And it's a turnover against Bataan.
Now we're finally seeing Jerome Garcia on the floor for Pasig City, Ken, with 2 minutes remaining here in the first half.
Trying to give them some shooting. Montuano, top of the key 3. Mintis pa din. Chris Xavier with a rebound.
But Bataan has to be wary, Ken. You know, they're still giving Pasig all these open looks.
Travel committed by Chris Xavier.
At kung ikaw ang Bataan, you don't want to wait for the time na mahulog yung mga tira ng Pasig by giving them all these quality opportunities. Montuano's been getting some open looks from the outside. Chito Jaime as well. Aantayin mo pa ba na gumana yung shooting ng Pasig sa laro na to bago mo sila depensa na maayos?
Algin Gadindo with another daredevil drive, I should say. Another one, the former ICC Luwak.
And drives like this will only help the guys in blue sa laro na to actually have more open looks from the outside. Because now, if you're Bataan, you're gonna have to pick your poison. Are you gonna allow guards like Gadin, the wing player of Pasig, Warlo Batak, to drive inside and score? Or are you just gonna let the shooters of Pasig continuously launch from the outside with open looks?
And that's something that they committed there against Pasig in their game in the regular season. Pasig was misfiring from the outside. Biglang nag-click yung shooting nila Javi in the second half, and Bataan simply had no answer to that. And that's something they want to avoid here in this play-in matchup.
Especially in this kind of atmosphere, very important game. This is winner go home. You want to lay all your cards on the table. You want to make sure that you check all the boxes and you do everything in your power. Control the things that you could control to make sure that whatever happens in this game, you won't have any regrets. And seeing this matchup on paper, obviously, Bataan is the highly favored team aside from being the higher ranked squad. They have all the pieces to dominate this game, and yet they're having a hard time pulling away from this very gritty Pasig City team who is playing severely undermanned in every position.
Warlo Batak has struggled here in the first half. Minute and 30 left in the second period. Octobre lines it up. Another 3-point make for the Bataan Risers.
Conversely, if you're Pasig, you also cannot allow open shots like that from a shooter like Rafi Octobre.
This is the biggest lead now for Bataan. Algin Gadin continues to attack.
And he's attacking his senior from ICC.
Gadin will take 2 free throws.
He's been running rings around the defense here in the first half.
Missing the first free throw though. He's become a threat here, Javi.
Oh yeah.
Nung simula, nangangapa pa siya eh.
Sobra talaga. I remember his first game here that was in Quezon. Nakalimutan ko lang kung sino yung kalaban nila. I
Manila
think
yata.
that was a game that we covered. Was it Manila?
Oy, natalo yata sila dun eh. I think that...
Anyway, that was a game where talagang pre-measure siya na matindi. Backcourt pa lang.
Yes.
And ang dami niyang turnovers na nako-commit. Ang dami niyang errors na nagagawa. But he was able to adjust. He was able to get himself used to the style of play and the physicality as well.
Nice pass. Eye off the glass and in from Alfred Flores.
It's just one of the many things that Hubert Cani can do at Wizardry with a basketball on full display. Getting it to a smaller guy underneath. Very rarely do you see 2 guards connecting and scoring inside.
Guard to guard passing there.
And all the other big guys were outside the shaded area or just outside that area near the basket. Si Octobre na yung pinakamalapit dun para sa Bataan.
Bataan Risers looking sharp at the moment. Free throws have been detrimental to say the least for Pasig City. 10 out of 20.
Free throws, missed layups, turnovers, missed shots from the outside. That has all contributed to Pasig City falling down behind by this big.
Bataan using their final timeout of the half. They're comfortably ahead, 47-30. Again, checking out our play-in bracket here. The loser here will go home, while the winner will await the loser of the game later on between Pangasinan and Ilagan Isabela.
And the winner of that eventual game will make it to the number 8 seed. The winner later on between Pangasinan and Ilagan will be the 7th seed, and they will face the Nueva Ecija Rice Vanguards in the first round.
I mean, the fun thing about here is all of the teams that are matched up against each other, lahat naging dikit yung mga laban, no?
Tama ka dyan. And that is why this is the most exciting part of our season. It's only going to get better. The quality of games, I assure you, will be down the wire. In my opinion, I think we're not going to see a lot of blowouts dito sa ating postseason.
Hubert Cani got free off the heel. The offensive rebounding has been on point for Bataan today.
29-16 ang rebounding gap ngayon. Kanina 5 lang yan, Ken. But it has bloomed because of the missed box out opportunities para dito sa Pasig City.
Montuano, corner triple will not drop in. Sazon, still enough time. Hubert Cani in stride, lays it up and in. One Bataan Risers on a roll. And this is the brand of basketball that we're so accustomed to seeing them, especially in their last few games. Chris Xavier, almost a double-double here in the first half, and has been merciless in torturing the Pasig Bigs. Ives Sazon also came through with a couple of threes. Hubert Cani just dissecting the defense time and time again.
Two of their biggest off-season acquisitions coming into this year, Chris Xavier and Hubert Cani, combining with the franchise player in Ives Sazon to help Bataan to this 21-point lead entering the halftime break. Be better para sa kanila, but again, they still have to be wary of this Pasig City team, although the team that's severely undermanned. What you gotta do is really try to break down the defense with your passing. Try to tire out yung depensa nitong Pasig City by moving that ball around quickly. Look for the open guy. Look for the shooters that can get open looks, because you have a lot of shot makers on the bench and in the floor.
Bataan not letting up. Josa Nimes entering the fray here, did not suit up in the first 2 quarters. And a foul will be whistled against Bataan.
It's a little bit of a pity that Josa came into the Pasig City team late in this season. Obviously, he came in still very much out of shape, although he's made some good progress on that as the games went by. Siyempre, makikita mo hindi pa rin naman talaga siya 100% ito si Josa Nimes. Pero pag kondisyon na kondisyon, alam naman natin yung kakayaan ng isang Josa Nimes.
Yeah. Actually, nag-trim down na rin siya from the first time I saw him.
No doubt, yes. Gaganda pa sana yung kondisyon niya if he just had more time on his hands.
But all is not lost for Pasig City. Behind by 22 points. Still a lot of time left here in the second half. Foul will be called against Jamil Gabawan.
Is there always has been tough para sa kanila, although the effort is there always has been allowable open looks by this Pasig City defense, and oftentimes it ends up with Ives Sazon. And here, maganda naging sagot ng Pasig City, trying to get things the old-fashioned way, going to their main man, their captain, Chito Jaime.
Commissioner Kenneth Durendes, Head of Security Ernie Distrito, Head of Operations Emer Oreta, traveling all the way to Pangasinan again. Chito Jaime, bonus free throw, another miss.
Free throws have been a huge problem in this game para sa tropang Pasig. 13 out of 24, that's below 55% from the charity stripe.
The double cross, Cani though fails to finish. Gadin pushing it. Nice pass to Jacob Galicia who puts it up and in. 7 points here in the third period for a total of 13 markers for Jacob Galicia.
Gadin playing with pace is a big help para sa Pasig City. This enables them opportunities to score without too much time off of the game clock.
Kulong with that patented one-hander. 59-41. An 18-point bubble by the Bataan Risers. Jerome Garcia thought about that long three, steps back from downtown, no good. Sazon with the rebound, grabs it, goes. The crossover, eluding Gadin, but too strong on that layup attempt. Jamil Gabawan snares down the offensive board and scores.
Just the right amount of English on that reverse. That time, Bataan overpowering Pasig City on the offensive glass.
Nimes tries a three. No go. Gabawan clears it for Bataan.
Last 2 possessions down para dito sa Pasig City. Not a lot of movement offensively para sa kanila. That let Bataan off the hook easily defensively.
Oh, Robbie Darang with that slight hezzy, freezing Chito Jaime and able to lay it up and in.
They're just playing around here with the defense of Pasig City. Talking about Bataan, they're having their way.
You've got to credit Bataan. They came out with the right mindset, executed their game plan to a T, and they've made life uncomfortable para dito sa Pasig City. Jacob Galicia can't hit that one-hander. Hubert Cani will not force it. Goes back to Robbie Darang. Si Cani ulit may tangan ng bola. Silang dalawa ni Darang nagpapasahan dito. Darang up against Chito Jaime. Will step back for free. Off target. The rebound ending up with Jerome Garcia. Garcia, his pocket got picked by Robbie Darang. Setting up Ives Sazon. That three will bounce out though. Jerome Garcia. Nice pass. Galicia in stride. Puts it in. 9 points for Jacob Galicia here in the third.
Credit to Jagars there for making the better decision, giving it to the higher percentage look inside to the cutting Jacob Galicia.
Robbie Darang, let's not forget, he missed almost 2 months because of that injury. And Bataan was just so fortunate that Alfred Flores was already eligible to come in during that free agency and trade window. And he was able to quarterback nicely for Bataan. Fast break of the game brought to you by Extreme X Play on the Go Speaker. They can use it anywhere.
Again, that's a nice pass in transition coming from Jerome Garcia, finding the trailing Jacob Galicia. To comment on what you were saying about Alfred Flores holding the fort para sa Bataan in that point guard position, he really did an impressive job because he showed that despite him only being a young player here in this league, he played like a veteran and he was the leader that Bataan needed in that very crucial stretch.
Aljin Gadin. Warlo Batak is now in the ball game. Still scoreless though. Batak gives it back to Gadin. Chito Jaime will not connect on the free. Warlo Batak skies. And the flip shot will work. First 2 points for Warlo Batak.
For Coach Aldrin Morante, that's good news para sa'yo. Kakapasok lang ulit. And he right away is able to get that ball, go through the net. That's a welcome sign for Pasig City.
18 puntos ang lamang. Gabawan. Oh man, everything is falling today for the Bataan Risers.
Kanina halos pantay lang yung field goal percentage ng parehong kupunan dito. But Bataan obviously having more attempts because of the offensive rebounds that they've had in this game. They've really dominated the glass. Pero dito sa third quarter, tumaas na ng husto yung porsyento nitong Bataan. They've been making their open looks and they've been making really good decisions with the basketball, hitting the open man and finding the guy that can make the shot.
65-45. Jess Hilatan Pinasa kay Warlo Batak. Susugod si Warlo. And back-to-back baskets for the youngster.
This is just how Pasig City should do it. Try not to go for those home run hits. Still run your offense, try to execute to the best of your ability, and see where the defense commits mistakes. That's where you hit them.
Kailangan nilang tiyagain eh. Tutoy Ramirez. Pass to Red William Bing. Jump shot from Frey. No. Offensive rebound again for Bataan coming into play. Again for Bataan coming into play. Chris Xavier, turnaround jumper. It will roll out. Another offensive board. Gabawan. That time, the steal from Pasig. Chito Jaime able to use his size advantage and score over Tutoy Ramirez.
There's a little run being made here by Pasig City. Coach Mactan, he's not happy with this, allowing the guys in blue a leeway of opportunity here to make some momentum on their side. Sabi ko nga kanina, they cannot afford Pasig City to get back in this game because this is what possibly could happen.
Nagbabalik po ang Liga ng Bawat Pilipino, the Maharlika Pilipinas Basketball League in its 7th season, and reintroduce the play-in tournament, the first of its kind here in Philippine basketball. Fan of the game brought to you by LGR, the official outfitter of the MPBL. Kasulukuyang malaki, tared ang lamang dito ng Bataan. 16 points ahead of Pasig City, 65-49. Muli po Ken Panglinan with Javi Palanya. We have Mika Abisamis, our courtside reporter. Later on, we'll have Ilagan Isabela versus Pangasinan. And our main attraction here in Rosales. Chris Javier, he's got it going today. Chris Javier, almost a double-double.
I came into the venue seeing the Bataan team warming up, and I could see on the face of Chris how locked in and ready he was in preparing for this game. He's gone through some tough times this season. It hasn't really been good for him at some moments, but you could see that Chris Javier is still one of the most serviceable big men that we have here in the MPBL. Very fundamentally sound. He can give you multiple things on the court. It's not just his scoring, but it's also his ability to see the whole floor as a passer, but also the ability to grab rebounds and be that physical presence in the middle para sa kanyang kupunan. I love how he's trying to calm himself down, and his other teammates are also trying to tell him na, teka lang, kailangan ka namin dito. Calm yourself down. Kung yung mga pito hindi pumapanig sa'yo, okay lang yan. Just go through and focus on the next play. We're up by 19 points right now.
A minute and 36 seconds left here in the third. Baseline inbound for the guys in white. Tutoy Ramirez to a cutting Jamil Gabawan. Down it plus the foul.
Halos lahat ng maipasok ng coaching staff ng Bataan dito, maganda ang pinapakita. And they're doing it within the flow of the offense, Ken. You see here, this baseline inbounds play beautifully run. At fake by Chris Javier, enabling a space for Jamil Gabawan to cut through the middle. Good recognition by the inbound passer to hit Jamil Gabawan on the cut.
The efficiency of the charts for Bataan. 10 of 31 from beyond the arc. Shooting 45% overall from the field. And like you said, most of the baskets they've had come within the flow of their offense. 19 assists.
These guys are really big on execution. Nakita mo naman yung coaching staff na meron dito ng Bataan. Lots of very notable coaching personalities on this team that help ensure the efficiency and execution of Bataan. We saw it in the numbers right before the game. Number 8 ang Bataan in terms of scoring, and mataas ang kanilang porsyento in 2-point field goals and 3-point field goals. And big reason is because maganda yung tinatakbo nila sa opensa. Everybody knows what to do and everybody is on the same page.
Batak lays it in. 6 points all coming here in the third. 71-51. Bataan, they were already here yesterday. It just goes to show you the commitment they have to prepare. And these coaches, talagang nagpupuyat yung mga yan, no? Just to come up with a right game plan each and every game. Now they have a chance to make some noise here in the play-in tournament. This free throw of the game brought to you by Extreme Appliances, ang subok at kumpletong appliance brand ng Pilipinas. Si Tutoy na ipasok ang kanyang unang free throw. Very deep rotation for Bataan. But the players have locked in as well. Tutoy hitting both.
You could see by the way the players are conducting themselves on the court that the coaches really did a wonderful job of priming themselves up. Themselves up for this game. Nakita mong nasa tamang pag-iisip sila, the right mindset to prepare for this game. And even by the way that they've been able to maintain their performances, it's impressive.
You can't help but notice the demeanor that they have.
Yes.
Alex Corpus continues to pile up the points. He scores and got fouled as well.
And again, I'd like to repeat, that they still cannot relax despite this 20-point lead because Pasig City will just keep coming at them. They're gonna try their best and they're gonna fight till the end. Kaya kailangan Bataan should continue to give their 110% in this game up to the final buzzer, because you never know how Pasig can light it up and suddenly start a huge run.
Felix Corpus is the lone guy shooting at an efficient clip from the free throw line. 6 out of 7. 1 second differential between shot and game clock for Bataan. Hubert using that Mitchell Minus pick. Ramirez baseline drive.
A wonderful shot to end the quarter. So calm and collected in preparing himself for that basket. Talking about Hubert Cani, that was really unnecessary coming from Jess Kilatan. And what Tutoy Ramirez did was just try to stand up for his teammate there. And then Mark Montuano also joining in. Look at Coach Mactan trying to tell Mitchell Minus, "Ka na makigulo dyan."
Very intense si Coach Mac. He was in the face of Mitchell Minus.
I'm very sure that their coaching staff, they know the importance of each and every player par and enter the playoffs. They need everybody on deck.
Highlights of the game brought to you by Sit Plus, the official hydration partner of the MPBL. Elevate your hydration.
Despite Pasig City making some runs in that third quarter, Bataan still able to stave them off with some timely baskets from their big men. Chris Javier continues to be a great source of offensive production in this game, while Jamil Gabaon, he's doing it all as per usual.
75-54 sa pagpasok ng fourth. Bataan with a 21-point lead.
Jess Kilatan for unsportsmanlike behavior. Technical foul on one Bataan Risers, number 18, Tutoy Ramirez, for unsportsmanlike behavior. Technical foul on one Bataan Risers, number 45, Mitchell Minus, for unsportsmanlike behavior. Technical foul on Pasig City, number 10, Mark Montuano, for unsportsmanlike behavior. Technical foul on Chris Xavier for unsportsmanlike behavior. Fourth foul on Chris Xavier.
Okay. So 5 total technical fouls, 2 from PASIG, 3 from BATAAN. So 1 each from Mark Montuano and Jeffrey Latan. And then Tutoy Ramirez, Mitchell Maines, and Chris Xavier for BATAAN, each tagged with a technical foul as well.
And that's why PASIG will have 1 technical free throw. The other 2 canceled themselves out. That's why Pasig City was awarded 1 dahil dun sa isang technical na sumobra. But free throws continue to be a problem para sa Pasig. Corpus missing on that technical free throw that could have trimmed the lead just to 20. Heading into this fourth quarter. Bataan will get the first fourth quarter. Bataan will get the first possession here.
Via BATAAN late in that second period.
First possession here para sa Bataan Risers, and Pasig City forcing them into a baseline out of bounds here with 11 on the shot clock. You see there the quarter scoring on your screens. Bataan and Pasig City fighting off to a 24-all deadlock in that third period. But that second quarter was really big para sa Bataan, and that's why they still enter this fourth quarter ahead big time.
Only 4 seconds left sa shot clock nitong 1 Bataan Risers. Hubert Cani at the corner, 2 seconds left. Can't connect on the free. Mitchell Maines skies in and grabs the offensive rebound. Sets his feet, but can't get that free to fall.
Bataan has collected 14 offensive rebounds in this game and have truly dominated the second chance points department, 14-9.
Algin Gadin with Mark Montuano, Felix Corpus, Chito Jaime, and Warlo Bata. Ramirez intercepts the pass. Sazon will not force it. Guarded by Warlo Bata. Sazon rises for a fifth three-pointer from Ives Sazon.
You cannot go under against a scorer as deadly as Ives Sazon. Or Lobatak had to pay for that by seeing Sazon burn the nets once again with a 3.
Lead has ballooned to 24 points. Chito Jaime with a face-up jumper. Chito Jaime with 12 points and 5 rebounds. Octobre. Backdoor to Ives Sazon. And a foul will be whistled against Warlo Batak. But I think we'll have a coach's challenge here. 3-point shot brought to you by Extreme, your one-stop shop appliances.
So you cannot afford Ives Sazon that type of space, especially when he's hit a number of 3-point shots already in this game. You allow him to step into that shot and load up. That's just an easy look para kay Ives Sazon.
Malalaman natin yung resulta ng challenge ng Pasig sa ating pagbabalik.
After the review, the Pasig City's challenge was successful. There was no foul resulting in a
There was a good reason why Warlo Batak implored Coach Aldrin Morante to challenge that last call. Apparently no foul in this play.
Yeah, he got all ball there. Good call. He really was adamant that there was no foul on that play.
78-56. 22-point bubble for Bataan. Batak. Face-up jumper again by Chito Jaime, pretty much automatic.
Back-to-back hits practically from the same spot there. Galing kay Chito Jaime. The question for Pasig right now is, can you generate some consecutive stops?
Ramirez lays it in. And a bonus free throw coming up after getting fouled as well.
Siguro nanlaki rin yung mata niya. Nakikita niya si Kadit kakapasok lang. Aside from the fact that he's a former teammate, siyempre, fresh off the bench pa, malamig pa ang legs nito ni Gadin. Made the right decision right there to go downhill. But here, Chito Jaime, hand in the face, no problem. You got back-to-back baskets from that same spot, halos.
Free throw ni Tutoy, sablay. Rebound nakuha ni Marlo Batak. Jaime, this time from beyond the arc, knocks that one down.
This possibly could be deja vu happening here between these two teams. This is exactly what transpired nung game nila in the regular season last May. Chito Jaime catching fire. But ito yung hindi nangyari masyado that time in the fourth quarter. Bataan could not really get a lot of baskets to answer yung mga tira nun ni Chito Jaime. And that's why they've been able to maintain this lead and keep Pasig City at bay.
That's it, Sazon's third foul.
Chito Jaime, 19 markers.
That is a 14.
Lubercani is replaced by Robbie Darang. Marlo Batak. Bit of a struggle here. Did not score in the first two quarters. 6 points in the third. His first basket here in the fourth period. No, he has chipped in nicely again. 7 rebounds and 4 assists.
Kumalma na siya dito sa second half. At those first two quarters, you could really see from his body language and the way that he looked. Yung mukha niya, alam mong talagang may halong kaba at saka gigil eh.
Yeah.
And that's not a good combination to have.
Oh man, Ives Sazon torching the Nets. 6th triple of the ball game. Has a total of 20 points.
Yeah, really taking a lot from one of his assistant coaches in El Granada, Gary David. He has hit a number of threes in this game. That's 6 triples right now sa laro na to para kay Ives Sazon. This time, Corpus electing to go over and fight that handoff that turned into the screen. Kaya lang wala rin naman nag-show dun that allowed Ives the space for a proper attempt on that three-point shot.
Felix Corpus back at the free throw line. 3 minutes gone by in the fourth period. Corpus has had a lot of free throw attempts. Knocks the first one down here. Two for two.
He's the only guy who's shooting above 70% from the free throw line sa laro na to para sa Pasig City.
Darang will set the table for Bataan. Again, the winner here will face off against the loser of the game later on between Ilagan, Isabela, and Pangasinan. Inside, Mitchell Maines forcing his way in, and it's an offensive foul against Maines.
Well, it hasn't really been a very pretty game for Mitchell Maines, no, sa laro na to. 7 points, but he's committed some errors in this game. Thankfully, para sa Bataan, all of the other guys have stepped in and chipped in with their respective productions.
That is the 14th foul for Pasig City.
You've got 3 guys in double figures and 5 guys with at least 7 points.
Minus will drive to the right. Got past Felix Corpus. Met by a secondary defender. And he was able to force a foul against Pasig City.
Corpus, again, telling Coach Aldrin Morante that they got all ball. And just like how Orlo Bata was able to block the shot earlier from a Bataan riser.
Second challenge request from Coach Aldrin Morante. 6 minutes and 24 seconds left. 21-point lead for Bataan. We'll be back for the result of this challenge.
Upon review, the Pasig Series Challenge was successful. There was no foul. Retained possession by one Bataan Risers.
Back-to-back successful challenges by Pasig City.
Yeah, all ball, definitely. Kitang-kita doon. Nice slap there by Corpus. Could have been a traveling violation. Instead, Bataan still gets to keep the basketball here.
Yambing, inasa palabas kay Tom Vera. Vera will pull up a three and knock that one down.
Even the guys from the end of the bench also putting in their respective contributions in this game. Vera has barely played in this game at kakapasok niya lang ulit.
Bataan is 14 out of 38 from beyond the arc.
That's the same amount of threes that Pasig City hit against the Risers during the regular season matchup.
So giving them an own dose of their medicine, but a steal, Algin Gadin going right at Robbie Darab and lays it up and in.
Great basket, impressive finish, but I'm not really a fan of celebrating shots like that when you're down by 22 points. But okay, I mean, it is what it is. Kanya-kanya naman yan.
Sabi nga ni Luma, mas madali daw mag-trash talk pag lamang ka eh. Pero ibang kaso to eh.
Hindi sila yung lamang ken eh.
Saka malaki yung lamang.
Yun na nga eh.
At looks like the torch already snuffed out of Pasig here. Bataan just continues to sizzle. Layup by JL Capulong. And we're now past the halfway point of the fourth period. Bataan in cruise control, up by 24.
It's a 24-point lead, but
Ives Sazon, just his second game here in the season of at least 20 points. But it came at the right time para dito sa One Bataan Risers.
kaya nga na sinabi ko at the top of our coverage, Ken, the numbers may not really be as impressive, 10.5 points per game this year. But in a game like this, maasahan at maasahan mo si Ives.
And for more, let's go to Mika.
Ives Sazon is feeling it as one of the three-point kings of this league in the first few seasons. He has admitted that there are so many more shooters now in different positions, lalo na with the available skills coaches nowadays, no? Pati daw mga big man, kasali na yung tres nila sa mga plays. So he has actually evolved into developing other skills to be effective. But pag talaga daw kasing nasisimulan na, hindi na mapigilan ang mga kamay niya. Tonight with 6, I believe, Ives will continue to prove his relevance to this Bataan team and to the league. He literally calls his second home since it started. Ken Javi.
Maraming salamat, Mika. You know, with Ives, he may try to bring in other facets to his game, Javi. We've seen that in spurts. But he'll always go back to his gunslinging ways, and that's exactly what he did today against Pasig City.
6 out of 11 from the outside, 7 out of 16 in total from the field. That's 43% from the field and 54% from the outside, way above his season averages in both departments sa laro na to. And that's just a testament to how reliable Ives Sazon is in games like these.
Kapulong adds up the lead. 25 points ang lamang ng Bataan. 4 and 22 left here in the fourth quarter. Doors slowly closing in on the playoff hopes of Pasig City. Aaron Morante can't bank in that 3. And Bataan, unless Pasig will provide a miraculous comeback here, will move on and face the loser of Ilagan Isabela and Pangasinan. And judging from how those two matchups went, it's gonna be a barn burner. You saw Bataan just lose out to Ilagan Isabela at home, but we also saw the emergence of Mitchell Maines in that game. You remember that Julius Irving-like reverse, he did that in that particular game. And then early in the season, they went up against Pangasinan in this very same floor. But whoever comes out as the loser there, they're gonna be in a tough matchup against Bataan in the next days to come, Javi.
Dahil pwede mo nga sabihin, Ken, itong Bataan, in a long season like this, they may be peaking at the right time.
Fast Break the Game is brought to you by Extreme Cool Air Conditioners. Ang Extreme magpalamig, free installation for split type air conditioners.
Sabihin mo nang nahuli, ayun na nga yung sinasabi ko kanina, no? Yung celebration ni Gadin, despite being down by 22 points.
Gutom lang siguro.
Well, it has been a tough game para sa kanila. Despite being undermanned, ang ganda pa rin ang pinakita nila. You could still see the effort that they showed. It's still very much admirable, especially from the coaching staff as well, to be able to figure out how this particular lineup could work. And it has for a lot of instances this season. They closed out this season strongly, winning 4 straight games.
Yeah.
Only to lose to Abra sa kanilang huling laro. That game against Abra, had it not been for that second quarter explosion by Enzo Serrano, they were actually ahead by 1 heading into the second quarter. Talagang makikita mo, kulang lang talaga sila sa pyesa dahil kulang lang talaga sila sa tao.
Galicia at the line. Makes good on the first free throw. But if you're going to tip your hat off para dito sa Pasig City, the season that Jacob Galicia had, because he's bounced around teams, Javi, played lesser roles. And here, with an undermanned roster, he has stepped up to the plate. And he does it in a way, Javi, that it's very unassuming, just does still the dirty work, but very efficient as well around the rim.
I think it happened in the right time para sa kanya. He's still in his prime. Batang-bata pa ito si Jacob Galicia. Just turned 30 years old. Again, that's another basket para sa kanya. He's now up to 18 points in this game. And imagine, maybe if the opportunity didn't come in the past seasons, baka hindi pa kasi siya ready noong time na yun eh. But now, because of the experience that he's gained, because of playing for teams like Caloocan, playing with such great big men in Gabby Espinas, Rael Cervantes, and the like, maybe those opportunities in the past just prepared him for this setup with Pasig City, wherein he became one of the main men of this squad, and show the other guys in the league that despite being undersized, I too could be a force to reckon with at the 4th spot.
Robbie Darang will shoot 2 free throws. Man, Bataan, when they're on point, they're really tough to beat. Shooting above 80% from the line. 35% from beyond the arc as the Pangasinan Heatwaves await as they try to make up for that tough loss just the other day in this very same building.
Well, tough might be an understatement for that loss.
Pasig City did not participate in the MPBL last season. Prior to that, had back-to-back playoff appearances led by Ryan Costello, Kenny Roacorva, who emerged in the shadows, initially played for Pasig. And that's also a part of who they are, Javi, producing yung mga talents na hindi mo malaman saan nanggaling. Roacorva was certainly a part of that, and now it's Warlo Batak who seems to have a lot of untapped potential here in the MPBL.
Yeah, that's what Boss Buddy wants for this team. They may not be as resourceful as the other franchises here sa ating liga, but he's always gonna make sure that he comes up with a competitive squad. And this is a guy that's seen a lot of basketball throughout his life, has already become the PBA chairman many years as the owner of the Santa Lucia Realtors in the PBA. At kaya naman alam niya na kung ano yung mga kailangan gawin to form a competitive team, and he knows a good player when he sees one.
And I'm sure he's pretty proud of how Warlo Batak came out here. Irvin Peña got rejected by Carl Bringas.
Eh, sabi niya rin naman kanina during his interview with Mika at halftime, no matter the outcome of this game, he's very proud of how this team fought the entire season, and also gave a highlight to Coach Aldrin Morante of how he was able to still bring this team to 12 victories this season despite everything that happened.
And if there's one thing, Javi, that you like to see more of or i-improve, ito si Warlo Batak moving forward, ano yun?
Para sa akin, maybe it's the decision making and the ability to embrace the spotlight without sacrificing yung kanyang composure on the court. We saw that here in this game. May timeout ata ang Pasig City dito, but we saw that in this game earlier, how he was really figuring out how to deal with his nerves during the start of this game. We'll talk more about it later on.
Tamaraos. Again, a look at Commissioner Kenneth Doremdes, Sir Roy Luarca, Rudy Distrito, and Emer Oreta. This one pretty much a done deal. 64 seconds left. And Bataan will live to fight another way. And again, just to reiterate, Zamboanga was supposed to have the home court advantage, but they gave way for Mindoro to host. So even though Mindoro's the number 8 seed, lower than Zamboanga, doon gaganapin yung mga laro on Saturday. And you're gonna be there, Javi. That's gonna be another compelling pair of matchups in the South Division this time.
No doubt about it. Oh, as you see, Van Peña making a 3 here in garbage time. But yeah, that's going to be an interesting pair of matches that we're going to have on Saturday in Pola, Davao, and Cebu. We know how that has slowly become a rivalry here in this league. And Cebu, they're going to want to grind that axe against the Davao Occidental Tigers. Many people were expecting Cebu because of the momentum that they had at that time during the regular season when they faced the Tigers to be able to get that victory. But the Tigers proving to be the more veteran team in that matchup, while Mindoro, they're gonna try to prove themselves once again against a very gritty and gutsy Zamboanga squad.
Mindoro gunning for their very first playoff appearance in the MPBL. But here in the North Division, unfortunately, the season comes to an end.
Para sa Bataan Risers, helping them to have another game and have another chance at making the playoffs once again.
Our final score, 99-41 Bataan Risers, 78 for Pasig City. Let's go courtside to Miss Mika Abisamis.
Maraming salamat.